Hey, welcome back to another video. In these series, slash just uploads, aren't they really? We answer the most common questions that you guys send in to us, whether it be on the comments of the videos or directly messaging on Facebook. Obviously, we get asked the same questions multiple times. And on these videos, we're going to address them. So,
right.
Today's topic.
So this is one that's asked quite a lot by people who are just kind of getting to get their feet in the tattoo industry, working as an artist. So this isn't necessarily for beginners. So basically, what we get asked is, how do you stand out as a tattoo artist who's just getting into the industry?
Oh, this is a really easy one, but a really difficult one at the same time. We've touched on this in some other videos where we just fucking drifted off and started answering all sorts. So there's a few things. Firstly, the importance of specialising is drastic, and it's something that, especially early on in your career, I did the exact same, and it wasn't until I changed and started specialising. And when I say specialise, look, it's not a career ending move. Well, what I mean by that is I can specialise in one thing and that is it for my entire career. You can change what you specialise in over time if you want to. So I would specialise in different things at different stages of your career, and hopefully that'll make sense in a minute. If you were stood outside, and I've used this time and time again on loads of videos, if you'd got terrible teeth, it bothered you all your life, you'd saved up, you finally had enough money and you wanted your teeth all whitening. If you were stood on a street looking at two dentists, one were just your generic dentist that did everything, all your NHS patients, and just your normal dental stuff that did everything, whether it be fillings, braces, no matter what you wanted, they would do it. And then the dentist at the side of it had a big sign saying, "We specialise in teeth whitening." Who would you naturally go to? You go to the person that specialises in the one thing that you want.
Yeah. It makes the market much easier to compete in as well. So if you tattoo anything, you're competing against every other tattoo artist in your area. Whereas if you specialise in one thing, you're only really competing against other people that offer that, and most of the time they'll offer other things as well. So by specialising in and finding your niche, you'll get basically everyone that wants that specific thing coming to you, and they're also willing to travel further. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head, but there's an amazing artist in Italy. If I find the name of them, I'll pop it in the description. But they do like really fine line work snakes, and that's it. That they don't no other fine line work. It is just snakes. But they have people travel to them from all over the world. One of my friends literally flew out to Italy just to go and get a tattoo from them, and they become famous because of that.
Yes, and I know I've mentioned, I think he's Chinese.
Yeah.
And the actual tattoos that he does, they're nothing complicated. Anybody on my course would be able to do them. He literally gets like a paintbrush, just does a circle even sometimes, and then it's just pretty much solid black, with the odd little brush marks at the start and at the end. Nothing complicated. And he's got thousands upon thousands of followers. And same scenario, people literally paying, and I mean, it's far from cheap. But travelling from around the world just to go to this one person that does that one particular job, but does it really, really well.
Yeah.
And the point that we're making regarding you can transition in between what you specialise in is what I advise people to do is when you're first starting out, let's say you've been through my course, you've opened your shop. Nobody's seen your work on skin. You might be posting all your mats, but it's a case of building trust with your audience. So what I advise everybody to do when they're first transitioning, obviously if you've been tattooing years, you've had a shop for years, this is not going to apply to you. But if you're just starting out in the industry, you've got to build that trust. The only way to build it is if your customers have got any sense at all, they wouldn't just book in with you for a portrait because they've never seen that work. Whereas your small, I won't say gimmicky, but your small simplistic tattoos, like little his and her crowns, initials, names, small 15, 20-minute tattoos that are really simple to do, but you can do them really, really well. Lines are perfect. Shading's bang on where it needs to be. The position on the body is second to none. You take a really good photograph after the fact and you're good at your business and your marketing. You could actually just run a business and a successful business.
Gonna say, I've got a friend in Warrington who's a tattoo artist who specialises in exactly that.
Yeah,
and his studio's packed out all the time. And it's not like your work where you do, one sitting and one sitting per day basically, and it's one huge piece of work. He has people in and out the door, in and out the door, and is making a killing off it.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get somebody to come in because in their assumption, it's just any artist could do that. Hey, just quickly, in the description there's a link to my new book, Learn How to Tattoo. It covers all the lessons in the first 30 days, plus my journey through the tattoo industry, showing the mistakes so that you can avoid them. Also, I'll add a link to the new clothing brand. Make sure that you grab yours and be proud to be part of this next generation of tattooists. That's all, guys. Enjoy the video and make sure that you're subscribed and have that little bell press so that you're notified when we upload. We've got a shitload of stuff coming to the channel very soon. Cheers. So even if they've never seen your work, they would happily walk in and get some initials or a name or something small. So if then you're a specialist in those things, they're going to expect to pay a little bit more and they'd be willing to travel for those of the people that, one, have got a little bit more money, two, not just the type of person to just walk in somewhere. They want to book and they want to do a bit of research, which is growing in the industry. A lot more people now are researching into who they want to do things rather than just walking in anywhere. I think because the tattoo industry's grown so much, people now that it's like more embarrassing if you've got the shit tattoos. Whereas before it was the normal, everybody walked about with just bags of shit.
I think you attract better customers as well doing that. So as you say, if somebody is willing to travel the distance to come and work with you because you specialise in what they want, they'll be willing to travel and pay more.
Yeah.
Like that's a better customer that you want to keep hold of.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think that's the first point. Specialise. The other point, and it's a really hard one to understand. We have mentioned this in other videos. Earl Nightingale, I listened to a lot of his thing and I've read his books. One of the things, I'm sure it was him, on one of his videos, he said, we fail in business because we automatically copy everybody else in that industry. And what I mean by that, we've definitely said it in a previous video, but I want to say it again because it is totally relevant to this point. You could put a blindfold on and somebody drop you off in any city worldwide, and unless there were a signpost or something iconic to that place, you would have no idea where you are. You could be anywhere in the world. Because every hairdresser's looks the same, every barber's the same, every tattoo shop the same, gym's same. And it's just human nature that, right, I want to open a tattoo shop. What you do is you look at all the other tattoo shops and you base your decisions from everybody else. But in any industry, whether it's tattooing, gym owners, restaurants, cafes, it doesn't matter, beauticians, 80%, and this is statistically true against any industry, there's 20% of that industry in debt. A further 60% just getting by. And what I mean by that is, you earn your money through the month. At the end of the month, you skin fucking bone ass, and then you're waiting for your money again. Then you get paid, and it's that vicious cycle. You're never growing. You're just getting by. Not a good place to be in. And let's be honest, everybody is a tattoo artist. It's right. I want my own business. I want to be self-employed. I want to open the door to a better life. That, to me, 60% and then 20% in debt is never the goal that you actually start out in business. But by copying the majority, and it's 80% either just getting by or failing, how can you expect to do any better than them when you're basing your business
off them,
off everybody else? So I think if I could sum it up in one word, do the opposite to what everybody else does, and you're going to be more successful.
Yep.
That's not true necessarily,
but
but it's a good indicator. If you're doing something that the rest of the industry is not, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah. I was going to say, a lot of the people that you see in the Facebook groups commenting on how to run a business, most of them fit into that category that are not running it particularly well. And therefore, like, how you just, it's very difficult to know what advice is worth taking.
I put a post on about this a few weeks back. Somebody, I'm not going to mention names because I'm not like that, reached out to me because he was struggling. An amazing artist, got no bookings, literally dribs and drabs of it next few weeks. I gave him a few pointers and bits of advice. He chose to not listen. He's still in that same position. But now, basically, he saw how successful I will becoming on YouTube, my socials. So he's trying to copy me, but off from a basis that he's got no experience because he hasn't actually got that success in the business and marketing side. Amazing artist, but trying to tell people how to run the business, how to get more customers, but he ain't got any of those things himself. So it's people listening to somebody that can't actually do it.
Yeah.
Whereas I openly admit this, in fact, I'm an advocate of this. I am not the best tattooist. Far from it. There is so many artists out there that make my work look shit. The work is like next level, absolutely amazing. But yet, 99% of those people, I earn fucking 10 times what they do. And it's because of how I run my business. And that's not just because of the online course or anything like that. When I was tattooing full time, I was actually in the top couple of percent of earners worldwide just from tattooing. Again, I'm not the best tattoo artist. Far from do I ever claim that. But how I run my business and how I market it, I think that's responsible for 80% of the business success, not the ability.
Yeah.
And we only need to look online to actually see that that point is valid. And I'm sure you guys watching or listening, you can look at so many artists, their Instagrams, their Facebooks.
That was kind of leading me on to what I was about to say. Is that obviously we're going to be releasing a business course teaching basically everything that you've just mentioned step by step in the very near future. But something that you can be doing now is working on your social media. So the first thing I would say to stand out in the industry is to learn how to take a good photo. Learn how lighting works. If you can afford it, get a decent camera. But more importantly than the camera, buy yourself some specific lights for taking photos. It makes an enormous difference. And then make sure you are posting those photos on social media every single day so that when somebody is looking for a tattoo artist, especially if you've already gone into a niche and somebody is searching, so for example, for black and grey realistic portraits, and then somebody pops up that has their Instagram feed full of amazing looking portraits that are really nice, well-lit photos that look like care has gone into taking them, compared to somebody of the exact same quality that just takes shitty, blurry phone pictures. The tattoo quality might be the same. They're going to go with the first one, though. They're going to go with the one that looks like the care and attention has been put into it.
Yeah. It's hard to stress somebody, isn't it, that quality should always be a focus.
Yeah, on everything.
At no point would we ever turn around and say, look, your tattooing ability doesn't matter, because that would be totally wrong. It does. You should always look to improve. And even the people right at the top, I look at my work and constantly think, God, that's shit. I need to be better, better, better. So you will always feel like there's room for improvement. As soon as you get to a level where you're happy, that's when you'll stop progressing. And there's so many people out there that think they're the bee's knees, their way is the best way. That it actually hinders the performance. And I'll say this, the one thing that will prevent you from standing out or becoming successful or getting more well known in the industry is ignorance. And what I mean by that is your way is not always the best way. And it's something that I've spent so much money on, business courses, marketing courses, like life coaching courses. and you should surround yourself with people that inspire you and that you can actually listen to. So if I'm in a room with people that are wanting my advice, the people that engage and actually listen and implement it are the people that will see the success. But there are so many people that would come and say, right, how do I do this? I will give them the advice, but they know best. So they just stick to their way. Well, I've been running a shop for 20 years. Yeah, and you're still in debt. Please, I'm the opposite to being in debt. Please listen, because my advice actually works and I've got the proof to back it up. Whereas equally, if I were in a room with like business-related people that were doing really well, I would sit and absorb as much information from them people as humanly possible, because they can teach me something that's going to improve my business and my life. So it's people's own ignorance that...
I think you touched on something really important there, which is a lot of artists, like we said at the start of this video, will look across the industry at what other people are doing within the industry, whereas actually you should be looking at other industries and other people who are leading other industries and seeing what they're doing that you can potentially bring across into your own business that's not necessarily tattooing related.
Well, just to back that up, I'm not going to go into too much depth in this because it is all in as course. But just as an example, even the top people within the tattoo industry, from a business aspect, so the top artists, but let's look at their business from a business standpoint only, not the quality of the tattooing. If we compare the tattoo industry and the elite people in there to other industries, as a rule of thumb, run their business completely different to the tattoo industry.
Yeah.
And there's so much as an industry, not just as an individual, that we should be learning. And I'm not going to go into details, but every time you purchase something online, certain things happen. Just have a little think about that. Every time you purchase anything, or you even go on a website and then don't purchase, certain things happen. But as a tattoo industry, we do none of that.
Yeah.
Well, I do, but
the industry in general.
The industry in general don't, and it's trying to teach people, look, these huge businesses, these multi-million-pound, billion-pound industries do things a particular way. What can we learn from them and implement it in the tattoo industry?
Like what tattoo artist is doing data-driven marketing?
Well, no. Very, very, very little.
Yeah.
Just as a little insight, the first thing, so I've been approached by countless artists saying, oh, how have you grown your socials so big? Can you give me any advice on marketing? Can you help me with this? The first question that I always ask is, do you track your numbers? How many people of the third week of last month inquired? How many consultations did you have? And how many tattoos did you have? Just those three really simple basic numbers. I've got videos about this on YouTube. Feel free to have a search, or we'll add links.
We'll add it in the description.
But just those three numbers is vital for a tattoo shop to succeed, but yet nobody tracks them. Yeah. And the thing with business, and it is mathematical.
Yeah.
When you work something out, if something's costing you less to obtain something that's value is more, that's a good business. But a lot of people, they either don't have marketing budgets, they're just relying on word of mouth. Listen, word of mouth was amazing. If you speak to all the old artists, oh, I've never marketed. That's brilliant, and you will get by. You'll be in the 20% either in debt, or the 60% just making ends meet. You will survive somehow.
You can't scale word of mouth.
But that's not the intention that we had when we started a business. We didn't want to just get by. And what you are competing with is you are in a sea of other tattoo artists. There's so many people saying that the industry's saturated, there's too many shops, fucking here, all sorts. Bullshit. It's just you're competing with everybody else. The odd few, they're doing the business right, the marketing properly. So all these that are just relying on word of mouth and word of mouth alone, are getting less and less work because they're now competing with other artists that are not just great at tattooing, but also now they've got a bit of business and marketing acumen behind them as well.
Yeah.
So it's not that the word of mouth doesn't work.
It's part of it.
It's part of you, but you're now competing with other artists that are using word of mouth and other forms of advertising to outmarket you. And the one thing that I will touch on whilst I've just mentioned that is the only people that complain about you shouldn't be teaching people how to tattoo online. The market is oversaturated. Are people that are dog shit at either tattooing or running the business and marketing. I've never, so I get fucking countless people either bad mouthing me. We sit and have a good laugh at them regular, don't we? I've had death threats. I usually just send them my address. So let me know when you're coming, I'll bang kettle on. We've had all sorts. But when we click on them, it's either they're absolutely rubbish at tattooing and I want to give them advice and help them, or some of them are actually really good at tattooing, but you can see straight away just by going through the socials that they've got no customers. So obviously, if they're not earning a great deal or they're not getting the customers or the work isn't very good, yeah, they're going to be pissed off that loads of people are actually now coming into the industry that are going to take even more of the customers. But if you're good at what you do and you've got customers, you never bothered. The amount of times that, I mean, when I was in Wakefield, a few new shops opened near me. First thing I did is I went round, introduced myself, let them know, look, if you need anything, if you run out of out, you want help, just give me a shout. And I've always encouraged people, even if they are direct competition for me, technically, I've got my own customers. I've never had a quiet spell. So I want to help others do well rather than thinking the competition, they're going to take my customers. I've got my own customers. You should have your own customers. If a shop opened 3 doors down, they should get their own customers, and there's enough customers to go around every tattoo shop. The only, and I can't stress this enough, the only people that have got a problem with online learning, flooding the industry, all the bullshit that they come out with, is people that need more work. And it's a straight indicator. As soon as I see it, I think they're struggling. But they've got the mindset and the ignorance. If I approach them people and say, look, I want to help you, they get a bit irate. You can't fuck, I've been doing this for, yeah, and you're still struggling. Yeah. Why not just listen? It's frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
Because I genuinely, even though they've put the bad comment,
so some of these
I'd help
people
them grow the business.
Make me want to smash my head into a wall, honestly. So as a roundup to loop back onto the question. So for people that want to stand out in the tattoo industry, focus on your niche.
Yeah.
Focus on learning how to do business properly. Look outside of the industry. Look at other people who are doing spectacularly well in their own industries and see what they're doing that you could potentially bring back into the tattoo industry.
There's a saying in business and marketing, isn't there? Success leaves clues.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to invent the wheel.
Do the opposite to everyone else in the industry.
Yeah.
And take good fucking photos.
And I think if you do just all them,
it will help.
See a big difference.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you're watching this video as it's newly been released, definitely keep an eye out on the Facebook, my socials, because the mentorship program that we have running that helps artists in a small group setting, but it's all done live. We're actually making that. The results from people has been absolutely phenomenal. I've had people that have been tattooing years that had literally a couple of weeks worth of bookings, and by week 10, 11, they're now 6 months plus booked up. And there'd never been more than 2 weeks booked up. Now, well, that's 6 months booked up, and then they've also got enough consultations booked in that if they keep the success rate of bookings, they're going to be another 8 months booked up in less than 11 weeks.
Yeah.
just by making a few changes. So the results, from a business point of view, we then thought, right, how can we give this to more people? Doing it in small group settings and it taking up my time, obviously I'm limited to how many people I can then help. So we have packaged it together as a full course that you can start and join whenever you want, excuse me. And that should be available in the next few weeks.
I was going to say, in fact, what will do is in the description there'll be a link. If the business course is live now, it'll be to that. If it's not live at the point of watching, it'll be to a sign up where you can stick your email address in and we'll notify you as soon as it's live.
Yeah, good shout. On that note, I think that's everything, bud.
Yeah, rambled on again with this one, but hopefully we've covered some interesting topics. And
I'll let you do outro.
Oh, do I get to do it? Okay.
You've fucking done it past few times, haven't you?
No. Oh, yes. No, I had forgotten. Yes. If you've got any questions like this that you want us to answer, drop them in the comments, send them a message on Facebook, Instagram. Get in touch. We want to hear from you. We'll try and do this as regularly as we can and just cover different topics. But yeah, I'm going to rub it off you. See you in the next one.